I thought it was a great win for the team because we had to play a good team on Thursday in Purdue and drive back that night and get back at midnight and had to regroup to prepare for a team, Indiana, who is well organized. From a coaching standpoint, they will throw different systems at you and different ways to attack. And I thought we actually changed our system 3 times in the game, which allowed us to kind of exploit some of the things that Indiana was doing. So I'm very proud of the group for that. I'm excited about where they are. We've come a bit of a way from the beginning of the season, and I think there are certain players who are stepping up in really big areas. But having said that, I think talking to what Kelly said right before this, he has a system called Catapult. We use some GPS data, and I've been very excited about our team's GPS data. The work rate they have both on both sides of the ball has, I think, really played an impact on our success, and I think that's a really credit to the players being willing to put that work rate in.
I want to ask you a little bit more about that GPS system. What goes into that? How do you track that, I guess?
People way smarter than me have come up with it, but they wear little units in the back of their sports bras, or like what they have there, and those track the distance they cover on the field. So probably our highest player is probably covering anywhere from 10 to 11 to 12 miles in a game to be able to do that, if you think about that. Now, that's a little deceiving because sometimes they're walking, right? Sometimes they're jogging. But we're able to manage that to figure out what workload we want to do in training and then how to have them recover.
How do you use that to measure success?
We've found over the years, 2019, when we won the Big Ten championship, when our workload was really high from all players, we were very successful. So I think you've ever heard the term, the harder I work, the luckier I get. It's a bit in soccer in that way, that if you can outwork your opponents. I think one thing a commentator said on one of our games, she said that we actually worked them off the field. And so I think that's a challenge for our team to keep going. That's keeping us doing the right things off the field as well, sleeping, recovering, eating, doing the things we have to do. So we found that kind of translates to some of our success.
Me and you have talked a lot about your offense this season, and I've talked to a couple of your players about it, but I'm curious about how you feel your defense is doing. How would you evaluate it so far?
Our defense has been put into some tough situations because our attack has gotten so big on the field. So we spread ourselves out to spread the other team out, which is one of the reasons why our work rate is getting higher, because they have to run to get to those shapes. But by doing that, if we don't keep possession, we put ourselves in some vulnerable positions. And the biggest thing I've been happy about progressing in the season is that when we give balls away, and as we do in any game, that in bad areas, we're able to transition quickly and be able to do that. The best clips I saw watching video this morning was our work rate of our forwards to come back and defend. So when we say about defending, I always look at it as a group defending mentality, and that has changed the most over the last 3 games probably in the Big Ten than anything, which I think then has created more opportunities for us to score. So I think the defense has done a great job doing stuff that we've asked them, and they're quite young. We have a young back line, and they've done a really good job of adapting that.
And then I know it's Erin McKinney's first year kind of starting after Jordan Bloomer is gone. How do you feel like she's it's more than settled in at this point, but just how do you feel that she's doing, especially as you guys have started Big Ten play?
Really good. She has a great presence about herself. If you ever meet Erin, she has a great energy about herself. And the one thing about Erin is she loves goalkeeping. It's her pride and joy, and I think that you can see that when she plays. One of the concerns coming into the season was just because of Jordan playing a lot, it's just game management. And she's shown us that she's able to do it, that she's communicating well with the young back line, so they're actually young together, in it together. And she's done a really great job of that. She's been brave in situations she needed brave, and at the beginning of the year against TCU, she kept us in the game. So she's been willing to make big saves at big times, and she's done a great job of that. And just, part of it, she came in with just a confidence about herself, and I think that kind of trickled down to the team.
Paula, if you had an unlimited amount of money and the ability to make it happen, what would you make happen at McClymonds? I know you have
That's a loaded question.
It is, but I know you have an experience on the field that your players have talked about they like. Around it, what would you like to see happen if that comes to a point where that can be made to happen?
I think one is getting more of the soccer community involved, so marketing, get ourselves out there. I'm always so proud of my players because they're great role models. There are players afterwards asking for autographs, and they're willing to do anything. So I think creating that atmosphere, one of our last games we'd had 1,000 people, but there's such a great soccer community here in Madison. I'd like to do that. And then, the next thing is I'd like to get the stands, a little bit closer. We played at Purdue, and they have a beautiful building there, locker rooms and everything like that. But the atmosphere, like the people on top of the game, to bring that atmosphere, is incredible. And our players, whether it's negative or positive, wherever they're going, if they're getting heckled or there are stands heckling people there, politely and correctly, that they rise to it and the energy that they bring. So I think that would be, just great stands and environment for people to bring a family to and see that. So.
You discussed changing systems, helping both the offense and the defense this season. How do you prepare for that? Because it can't be easy to kind of switch a system in the middle of a game.
I think it goes to the intelligence of our players, their soccer IQs. Some of them, like key positions like Natalie Vigiano and Emma Jazz Connect and Izzy Verdugo and even Aiden, they've been in situations where they've had to make those changes. And so with that great leadership and that IQ, it's easy to switch into it. And, it's a great dialogue talking to them about the different systems. And I think one thing we've done well is we've explained what each of the systems do that can benefit us, and they understand their roles and their responsibilities in that. And part of our system, part of our program is built on principles. So systems just tell you where to start, but the principles never change. And I think that's one of the foundations we've done with our players is they understand the principles, and then they just start from a different position.